many. I misread an edible. I misread an edible label by about 10 times the amount.
A 0.
What did you think it was, and what was it?
5, and it was 50. But I did more than just one, so it was. I'm just a recreational user, like once a month, you know. As far as
10 times 5 is a reasonable amount to take.
Yeah, I was like, oh, 5, like these are no big deal. I'll pop 3, 4, you know, whatever. And wasn't good. Really bad.
What happened?
Yeah,
did you throw up?
Truth be told, I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I was in control, like I was a passenger, like you know, couch locked. Ever heard of that?
You're like dissociating almost.
It was the only thing I could will myself to do was walk in a circle. So if you look behind me, in fact, I wonder if I can pull the Ring camera footage, because I have a Ring camera in my house. It doesn't record, but they might have something. But so if you look behind me, there's like a doorway there. You can walk through that doorway and then walk to the kitchen and walk through. It's like a big circle thing. I was just walking in a circle for what seemed like an hour at one point.
Sometimes that's what you have to do when you're too high, is just like stay moving, try and get through it.
I remember when I was high and I had my hands like this, and you asked me why, and I told you I was holding on.
Yeah.
It was bad though. Hallucinations a little bit, mostly auditory.
Jesus.
A lot of stuff. I was out. I mean, I was like, I think I slept for like, Jesus, like 15, 16 hours, something like that.
It must have been refreshing.
Yeah, I caught up on sleep. Yeah, it was.
That
good.
sounds absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, people forget, like, because like compared to hard drugs, weed isn't really that impressive in its effects, but it's a real drug. It'll fuck you up, especially edibles. Like I've
never thought it was unimpressive in its effects. Edibles have always been fucking scary.
Well, you go hard with the. I'm too afraid to go half as far as you have with edibles. Like you did 1,000 milligrams. I would. Like, I've smoked enough weed in my life that when I get way too high, I sit there and I'm like, you're going to be fine. You've done this 100 times. 1,000, I might be one of those guys who goes to the hospital and is like, I don't know what needs to happen, but please give me something.
I do not partake in the devil's lettuce. The only time that this has ever happened to me, and I don't think I've ever told this story ever. I'm a little embarrassed, you guys, okay?
It's okay.
I was at a Call of Duty event. Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa were performing. My cousin was there with me. He ended up having to go home. He had bought edibles from somebody, just from like, so not like an actual store or anything, but just from some guy there. Just a guy, you know, trustworthy guy, probably. So he eats one of these chocolate bars, and then he leaves the other one on the counter. He's there for a few more hours. He's like, you know, those didn't work at all. I'm gonna go ahead and go home. No problem, whatever.
Story is the same one.
Wait, what's up? So he leaves. He gets on the plane back to Texas. I'm still there. I'm drinking a little bit. I have no food in the room. I eat the chocolate bar because I'm like, oh, he got scammed. It's just chocolate. I eat it. I'm literally the guy who calls the ambulance, who's like in the bathroom, telling my friends, like, dude, I'm having a heart attack. I don't know what's happening. My cousin gets back to Texas, and his twin brother calls me and tells me, yo, I had to help Adam off of the plane. You do not eat that chocolate. And my cousin's like big on edibles, so if he couldn't handle it, I was in the midst of a serious panic attack. It affected me for many days.
Oh no!
I mean, didn't you taste that it wasn't good chocolate at the very least?
I was drunk, Taylor.
Oh
no! Well, that doesn't help.
That adds
worse.
Yeah, that makes it way harder.
Yeah, really bad. That's my only experience with edibles. It was very scary.
Yeah, and all drugs are like that, really, because like we talk about weed like this all the time, like because I'm not a degenerate. I don't do fucking cocaine and heroin, but from what I hear from those people, like a lot of times they'll get used to this weak ass cocaine or heroin that they've been using, and then they'll get exposed to like someone who goes hard in the paint, like, but with cocaine or heroin, they get exposed to their shit, and then that's when people like literally die or like have episodes and stuff. Marijuana is the same thing. Like people be eating these cutesy edibles that you get at a store, and then some stoner granny will make them some brownies, and they go to another goddamn dimension. They get to meet the devil.
Looking back, like it's wild that I would like go to a friend's place in college or whatever, and they'd be like, "Have a brownie." It's like, how much is in there? I don't know. And like you would do that, and there were times I explicitly remember. This is two of the times I've been highest in my life, both happened to be times I was trying to explain Magic the Gathering to someone. That happened with Kyle and Chiz in Colorado, where I tried to keep up with Kyle and Chiz, which was not a great idea. And I was basically like not able to form words almost till I came back from the precipice. And this was another time where I did that same thing. And like, I can remember like I ate this huge brownie and it started to kick in quickly. Usually you get a nice little ride up, but this was strong enough that it kind of accelerated there. And he was like putting down a card in a tapped position and it wasn't supposed to be tapped. And he was asking me a question about creatures or something. And I remember in my head being like, you can call an Uber and be home in half an hour right now. But my mouth was like, you can't tap that yet. And I just ended up sitting there playing. Turns out Magic the Gathering, great game for when you're too high. It's enough attention that you're not focused on how scared you are.
Do you think there should be some kind of like, all right, so here's what I think. Let me just like storm this bridge. I've always said I think that like most drugs, narcotics and everything should be legal, but like at the very least decriminalized, and we should treat with treatment instead of prison time. Because like I've been in prison before a little bit, and like there's like villains in there, like people that borderline evil, and then there are people who are in like positions who are going to continue to do things that you might consider to be evil, regardless of like what's inside of them. And then there's a few guys in there who just like wanted to make a little bit extra money. And then there's like people like me that just like getting high, and they don't all belong mixed together. We need like 3 or 4 different facilities for all those people to go like diverge.
Yeah. Well, the people like you shouldn't have a facility at all.
Well, we should. It should be full of dope and pussy all day. Like they should be like, oh, that guy's cool as shit. Come right in, Kyle. Yeah, you're stoned right now.
What if we had those like mental health depression centers, but it's just full of pussy and drugs, alcohol, just the least healthy way to cope.
I want to help write the theme song to that place. It would say the chorus would be pussy and drugs, come have some pussy and drugs. It's not very creative, but I guarantee it'll work.
It gets to the point.
Who says when you're here, your family?
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden. That's
Olive Garden. Yeah.
I totally agree though on that whole drug thing.
Yeah,
I think that you should be able to do. We're all adults here. I think that pretty much you should be able to do whatever you want. I think there should be treatment centers if you need it. I don't believe that people should be doing months in prison for a small little blunt there.
Yeah, I don't care about it. And like, I just think you should be able to do whatever you want with your own body. Like I think I am kind of the mind that like selling drugs, I kind of see the thing there, right? But like using drugs has never made any sense to me.